What's up, Bonnet Nation? Jack Haskell alongside Ryan Lombardi, bringing you an inside look at tomorrow night's opening round NIT matchup, where the number 3 seeded St. Bonaventure Bonnies will host the Kent State Golden Flashes. Ryan, I didn't think we'd be here doing this right now, but boy, am I glad we are.
I had my doubts, but at the same time, St. Bonaventure brought in Bob Beretta in the offseason, become the new athletic director of St. Bonaventure Athletics, and my goodness, has he done a tremendous job this far. We should have never doubted him. As soon as he tweeted out the hourglass emoji last night, I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh, I knew.
And I
was doing my best Brian Windhurst. What does this mean?
And I just had a feeling that, we'd be doing the game. And I didn't know if we were going to be hosting, especially when you look at the field, when you look at a team like St. Louis, and when you look at a team like Loyola Chicago, who didn't even get seeded in the NIT tournament, it's a good feeling that we're getting the home game in the Riley Center.
Yeah, and even some of the power conferences that did opt in, like SMU, Stanford, there's some pretty legit teams in this field. And I've seen a lot of people complaining about the field and saying, oh, it's just a battle of the mid-majors. Why not?
No,
why not?
Yeah, you still have some Power 5 schools. Very surprised West Virginia did not opt into this tournament, and I don't even think they're playing in the Crown if I'm corrected, which is just crazy because they were the last team out. We saw last year Seton Hall was that last team out. They had just missed the tournament, and Shaheen Holloway kind of pulled his guys aside and were like, "It's up to you." It was his seniors. It was his 3 seniors, and it's like, if you guys want to play in this tournament, we'll play. And they all said yes. So I'm kind of surprised West Virginia didn't kind of use it as some motivation, some vengeance to go out and win this and show they were legit. But hey, man, I think this NIT tournament is a very well spread out field. It's a lot of solid mid majors. Dayton's the number 1 seed. You have 6 Atlantic 10 teams in the field, so it's definitely a good look.
Yeah, looking at the field, West Virginia is making some noise in this bracket. And you mentioned Seton Hall, the champions of last year's NIT.
Right.
West Virginia could easily win this whole thing if they opted in, but I understand the frustration, I understand the disappointment, but nonetheless, that's better for our St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
It definitely is, but they're taking on Kent State. What do you have on Kent State? What can you tell us?
Yeah, Kent State, they're not a team that we can just look past. 22-11 overall, 11-7 in the MAC conference, 3rd in the MAC conference, losing in the semifinals of the MAC championship to Miami of Ohio. They're legit. We can't just brush over them just because they're in a lower conference than us.
No, definitely can't. Kent State, they went 11-7 in the MAC. They're a solid team. They finished 3rd in the MAC. And they lost to Miami, Ohio, who's a solid team in the MAC tournament. But I think Kent State is a solid team. I think St. Bonaventure has their work cut out for them, and it's a team that's faced a lot of adversity this season within St. Bonaventure. So they have 6 guys on scholarship playing tomorrow night, and it's not going to be easy for them.
No, not at all. But with there only being six scholarship players, it's Brock Ostrom time.
It could be Brock Ostrom, Jack DeRose. We could see them mix in off the bench because Noah Belonga right now is the only scholarship player that's going to be on the bench at the start of the game. We'll have our 5 starters, but very easily Noel Brown can get in foul trouble. We see Chance Moore almost every game, get into foul trouble, which is, it's fine, but I think this St. Bonaventure team has overcome so much adversity that why not finish this out?
Yeah, absolutely. And for Noel Brown and Chance Moore, 2 guys that are exhausting the rest of their eligibility this season, they get to play in the Riley Center. They get to play collegiate basketball one more time thanks to this NIT tournament.
No, definitely. It's when Noel Brown talked about what it meant for him to be a Bonnie and how it completely changed his life. You got to realize that a guy like him is going to do whatever it takes to ball out and keep playing more basketball.
Absolutely. And Noel Brown, just being able to work with him with Team Unfurl anytime I talked to him, if I needed an interview, if I needed a picture, if I just needed a couple of words, he was always more than willing. And he was just an absolute class act. And speaking of Team Unfurl, if you're a student, donate 1977 to Team Unfurl's Venmo now as a part of the Spirit of 77 challenge for a chance to win a Burton Burger and Fries for you and 9 friends. Sorry, I had the cheap plug.
That was a free shout out.
That was
we giving out free shout outs.
That was a free shout out, Ryan.
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. But let's take a look at how Bonaventure ended their season, because we didn't get a chance to talk about this on air, Jack. So obviously, St. Bonaventure falls to a very solid VCU Rams team. They lose by 17, 76-59. But I mean, when you take a closer look. This Bonaventure team battled. Melvin Council Jr. kind of put the team on his back when it mattered. He had 19 points. Chance Moore, kind of like vintage early season Chance Moore in that one.
Yeah.
He also had 19. And Leger kind of had an off night. He was 0 for 5 from 3. But to be fair, VCU did a very good job. Shulga started on him and eventually – Shulga started on Council, and then Leger kind of had a few early points, and they switched Shulga onto Leger to kind of, make it harder on Leger, and they did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chance Moore's offensive production kind of quieted down a little bit as we got into conference play, but you mentioned early season Chance Moore. He had 27 against Canisius, and I want to say the second game of the season. And though he didn't have 27 points this game, he looked really good. He wanted to keep the Bonnies in this game.
No, he looked sound. I mean, obviously free throw shooting has been a problem for him, but he made 4 of 7 free throws, which is above the Chance Moore average, I feel like, most times. But no, Chance Moore looked really good. He also got it done on the boards. He had 8 rebounds. Melvin Council Jr. had 9. Leger Jones had a double-double. He had 10 rebounds, 10 points. So all around, I mean, the Bonaventure stat lines were there, but they didn't have another player step up. That was the problem. I mean, when you look at the rest of the point totals, you had 6 from Noel Brown, 3 from Noah Belongo, and 2 from Miles Rose. So nobody else stepped up outside the 3. So I think for St. Bonaventure tomorrow, you're going to need a 4th guy to step up and score double figures, because honestly, that's where they play their best basketball. When you look at their averaging stats, 4 of the 5 guys in the starting lineup are averaging 10-plus points a game. And when you can't do that on a against a team like VCU, it's definitely going to be tough.
Absolutely. And with the way this team has been this season, with the injuries they've had, this is a next man up team. It's the next guy up. You have to produce. You have to keep the Bonnies in the game. You have to give them something. And whether that next man up tomorrow night is Jonah Hinton or Noah Belonga or Brock Ostrom, for all we know, somebody's got to step up to keep the Bonnies in this tournament. Because I absolutely believe that we can beat Kent State. And I mean, whether we play Stanford or Cal State Northridge in the next round, please God, let it be Cal State Northridge. Who knows?
Something to note, Melvin Council Jr. has not scored under double figures since November 20th against Division II Mansfield. He's been in an absolute tear. He can do it from all parts, I feel like, of the court. We can see him shoot the 3 ball here and there, but he's just such a good finisher inside, and he's just so athletic that I think if he can get going, Kent State is going to have a very tough time slowing him down.
Absolutely. And Melvin Council Jr., he plays every single minute of every single game.
Oh, yeah.
He says it himself. He's a dog. If he can be on the floor and contribute, he's going to be on the floor and contribute.
When you look at the amount of complete games he has played this season, I mean, I can count it up for you really quick. He played a complete 40 home against VCU where he had 20 points. He played a complete 40 against Fordham where he had 24 points. He played a complete 40 against St. Louis when he had 10 points. He played a complete 45 minutes against LaSalle. He played a complete 40 minutes against Richmond. That's 6 straight games he played 40-plus minutes. Then 39 minutes, 40, 39. Like, he has never played below all of A10 play. He didn't play below 36 minutes, and he played 36 minutes against UMass, and he still had 14.
To credit your point, during the conference season, he played 92.5% of all available minutes during Atlantic 10 conference play.
It's just nuts.
It's unreal.
Coach Schmidt has said it so many times, and he said in the press conference, he was like, 18 to 22-year-olds just don't get tired, and they can sleep when they're dead. And I was just like, I love that. And, I mean, you saw it with Council. He had the same amount of energy from start to finish in that game against VCU, and that was with playing 40 minutes the day before And in that game against VCU, he scored more points than he did the day before. So arguably, he played better too. So honestly, Melvin Council Jr. is going to be the X factor in this one.
I don't know how he does it. I don't know if it's the Epsom salt bath. I don't know if it's the rest that he gets. I don't know if it's the food that he eats.
I know how he does it. He said it in the press conference. He said, a hot shower and I'll be ready to go.
Hey, there you go. Melvin Council Jr. is a dog, and if you're not a dog, you're dog food.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think it's going to take for St. Bonaventure to really get going tomorrow and through adversity beat this Kent State team?
Everybody's got to be on their A game. Noel Brown has to rebound the ball, has to score the ball, and cannot turn the ball over like we saw him do in the Atlantic 10 Conference tournament.
And that's another thing I want to talk about. Noel Brown, like he was so good this season, especially in the Riley Center. Just something comes alive in him when playing on home. But in that Atlantic 10 tournament, like he struggled. He struggled to get post touches and really drive inside of the basket. I don't know what it was, but I think being back at home, I think will only help this guy play better. So I like Noel Brown in the Riley Center. I think he's going to get going. And I just hope they feed the post more. I mean, that baby hook from Noel Brown is just so automatic. And he only broke it out once in the A10 tournament.
One of the most unstoppable moves in the entire Atlantic 10 Conference, in my opinion. But he's got to be on his A game. Jonah Hinton, if he has an off offensive night, he has to bring something else to the table. I mean, we saw it in the game against VCU. 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3 to go with 3 turnovers and 3 fouls.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be someone you got to get going. It just... With Jonah, sometimes it just feels like he does too much dribbling, and I think that's when he tends to turn it over. So many times, like he tries to take it inside, and I think Jonah, I mean, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I think he's a little mismatched on the height, and so when he tries to drive inside, and he doesn't even go like straight like up for a layup, it's kind of like a floater off his hand. And I just feel like it gets blocked more times than it goes in.
Absolutely. And we've seen him shine in previous games. We've seen games of Jonah Hinton having 3-4 3-pointers made. And if he can do that against this Kent State team, that's definitely going to help elevate us.
I think another thing, I mean, these guys are just so comfortable. Like, they practice every day in the Riley Center. They shoot on these baskets every single day. So I think it's only going to be to their advantage that they're on home court. They're used to playing in that gym. And I think with the fans and that aspect, I think it's only going to make everybody play better. I mean, the Riley Center is sure to be packed. It's sure to be buzzing. I expect a sellout crowd. I doubt they don't sell it out. I'll be completely honest. 7 o'clock game on a Tuesday night. Everybody in the surrounding area is going to want to be there.
Which, shout out to the St. Bonaventure alumni very quickly for donating the $12,000 that was needed in order to pay for all of the student seating to this NIT game. Bonaventure alumni, I can't say it enough, are the best alumni in the entire nation. And we cannot thank you enough for all of your help with this game, with the entire season, with everything that they do for us, even outside of the basketball games.
No, it's definitely huge. I had no doubt that Bonaventure, the Bona faithful was going to come through and get us these. And I expect Bona Nation to travel well. I mean, we have Bona alumni all over the East Coast, and I expect them to be in the Riley Center Tuesday night.
Absolutely. Going back to what everyone needs to do to help the Bonnies secure the win. Melvin Council Jr., I hate to say it, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, Melvin Council can do no wrong in my eyes with everything he's done.
If he doesn't score the basketball, that's the only wrong he
If he doesn't score the basketball, that may be a problem. But, I mean, his game is all around. He's rebounding the ball. He's poking the ball. He's dishing out assists. He's doing it all for the Bonnie squad.
Yeah, he can move the ball all over the court. And then even just on the defensive side, him and LeJay Jones are just such a duo on defense. I mean, we saw when Bonas went on that like 8-0 run against Duquesne late in the second half in that second round game. Melvin had 4 consecutive steals in that 8-0 run.
I watched it
was like
live.
5 minutes. It was 5 minutes worth where it was just every possession Melvin just took a steal and took it coast to coast. Like it was automatic. And then LeJay, he's just so good at because he's so lengthy. I think so many times that he like kind of acts like he's sleeping, and they send a pass onto the outside wing, and LeJay just jumps in front of it and takes it. Because I think with his size and with his length, he can kind of get away with doing that and kind of just intercept the pass and take it to the house.
During the Melvin Council steal party, I'll call it, I remember texting you from across the Capital One Arena. I was like, did that really just happen? Did that really just happen?
I said this the last pod we did, but I was like, I wrote in my article, I was like, St. Bonaventure ends the season, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and I'm like, post-game, after that, comeback win, 13-point comeback win, I'm like, I'm such an idiot. But I tried to do it again, too, against VCU, but the magic just wasn't there anymore.
It wasn't there.
It was a one-time thing, but I should have never doubted the boys. But I think they're going to get it done against Kent State. And obviously, if they do, we'll be right back here talking on this pod.
For LeJay Jones, find the hot hand. I mean, he struggled the last few games with shooting, especially from the three-point range. But you and me both have seen some of the three-point shooting games that LeJay Jones has had in the Riley Center.
And I think especially against a team they have never faced, like this season at this point, like they don't know, like Kent State doesn't know us. They don't know how these players react. Like VCU, that was the third time we saw them. Duquesne, that was the third time we saw them. Obviously, they're going to have answers for some of these guys, like St. Bonaventure did with Max Scholga. Like they held Max Scholga to 2 points in that quarterfinal game. Obviously, Scholga had 11 assists and 0 turnovers, which might have been the difference maker in that one. But anyways, no, I think it's going to be hard for Kent State to have an answer early on. So if LeJay Jones can get hot from three, like we've seen him do early on, I think that's going to be a huge part of this Bonaventure offense.
LeJay Jones needs to see one three-pointer go in, and then it's boom goes the dynamite.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm feeling electric. I'm ready to go, and I really hope St. Bonaventure can get it done.
For Chance Moore, return to early season Chance Moore form. If we can get
do what you did against VCU, and this is Chance Moore where we see him play so physical, and that's why I think he gets rung up with so many fouls. Sometimes, like I don't even think the foul is like it's a worthy foul. He's just playing that hard.
He's a rim runner,
exactly, and I think with Chance, he's only gonna keep playing well. I mean, we've seen him. This is a few games in a row now. He's played well. So I just think he needs to stay hot and keep the hot hand going.
I mean, I mentioned he's exhausting his eligibility this season. He wants to make the most of his last couple collegiate games. So if we can get a 15-plus point game from Chance with efficiency at the charity stripe, I mean, that's going to be huge. That's going to help us a lot.
If St. Bonaventure, if Chance Moore, Melvin Council Jr., and LeJay Jones all score 15-plus, I think it's no doubt St. Bonaventure wins. I mean, it's easier said than done, and it seems kind of obvious. But I think when those guys can score the basketball consistently and for points, I think they'll have a good day. And also, like I said, these Atlantic 10 teams had an answer for Noel Brown. We saw Noel Brown early in the season just dominate inside the post. I think we'll see that vintage Noel Brown, early on in the game until they can figure out a halftime adjustment or something for him. But I think Noel Brown gets off to a really hot start as well.
Absolutely. And finally, for Noah Belonga, physicality.
Yes. I mean, this is a guy we've seen struggle to play physical, like you mentioned, physicality. Coach Schmidt has said he's coming along better as a defender and playing with a little more enthusiasm. But I think for Noah Belonga, if he can just play physical, play his game, and just give it a little bit more than he has been, I think it's going to set him up for success.
Absolutely. And with no true backup center, you've got to imagine that Noah Belonga and LeJay Jones are going to alternate at that backup five when Noel Brown is on the bench.
Yeah, I think you can see Chance Moore kind of get in the mix too, but he is just such a great defender. Like,
absolutely.
Up high. And so I think those guys will definitely rotate, and you got to be careful with Noah Brown, like you mentioned, because foul trouble is going to be an impact.
And this team, though they can give up a lot of rebounds, they're still an okay rebounding team. I mean, you look at the VCU game, Melvin Council, 9 rebounds. LeJay Jones, 10 rebounds. Chance Moore, 8 rebounds.
Yeah.
If this team can box out, every guy on the floor can easily get a rebound over any other guy on the opposing team.
Yeah, I mean, they got out rebounded by 4 in that VCU game, and a lot of them came offensive rebounds, and second chance points was definitely a factor in that one. But I think if they can box out and get the defensive rebounds and limit those offensive second chance points for Kent State, it's only going to help them.
Absolutely. Really quickly, Ryan, if you have to choose one player to just shine in this game, whether you want to call it pick to click, player of the game, whatever you may want to call it.
I'm going back and forth because obviously Melvin is a very obvious one. He's going to get going. LeJay has been so good this year, but I think Noel Brown has a response to his performance in the Atlantic 10. It was not how he wanted it to go, but I think he's going to get going. He loves playing in the Riley Center. I think that being in Washington, D.C. was really tough. He even mentioned it, talking post-game. It was an emotional Noel Brown post-game. I think in the back of his mind, he knew there was definitely going to be another opportunity to play more basketball, so he wasn't like that emotional. But this is it. This is make or break. If they don't know what comes after this, so I think riding the enthusiasm of the unknown, of what is next, I think is only going to help them in the long run. And I think Noel Brown is your X factor. I think we could see him potentially drop 20-plus points.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's the lingering thought in the back of your head during the Atlantic 10 championship that, if we get eliminated, there could be the potential to play in the NIT. But we're at the NIT. This is win or go home now. You lose, you play your last game of collegiate basketball.
It truly is. I mean, we haven't seen Noel Brown really, score 20-plus since he did at Fordham. But even in that game, he played very physical. He only scored 7 field goals, and he had 22 points. He had 8 free throws at the line. So I think that was a game where we saw Noel Brown play very physical and work and dominate the inside. And I think you could look for a similar thing against Kent State.
My pick to click, Leger Jones.
Okay.
We mentioned earlier the games that he's had of just 4, 5 3-pointers made in the Riley Center. He's had a couple of, for lack of better words, bad offensive games, and he's been able to contribute when he hasn't been able to get his shots to go down. But I think being back in the Riley Center where he's just got the hot hand, season on the line, I think he's gonna be great.
Yeah, I mean, we really started to see Leger Jones shine late in the year in the Riley Center where he just started knocking down threes. I mean, most notably, I think it was the Dayton game. He had 6 3-pointers in that one, and he just could not miss. It was just every time he had the ball, I think he was hitting a 3. So I think it's going to be hard for Kent State to have an answer if he can get hot. And like I said, they practice, they play every single minute. They have been in this gym since June. They have been in this gym for almost, I think it's been 9 months now, just shooting around. I think this team is gelled. I think they have played through adversity, and I think they are going to get it done on home court tomorrow night against Kent State.
It just simply means more. With that said, thank you for tuning in to our NIT opening round preview brought to you by Afterthought Sports. For Ryan Lombardi, I'm Jack Haskell. We hope to see you in the Riley Center tomorrow night. But nonetheless, go Bonnies.
Go Bonnies.